What's up guys? Hello! Welcome to today's video where I'm going to talk about some of my Sephora VIB sale recommendations. It's that time of year again, which seems to be getting more frequent, that Sephora is offering these 20%, 15% off, just discounts in general. Sephora never used to do that. And now it seems like we have one every couple of months. And because of that, I actually don't have anything new, like newly released anyway to recommend because I've been trying to be really good and not buy a ton of new makeup when I'm still trying to process my old makeup. And I've done a good job, but it also means that I don't have anything new to add to my recommendations. I have a playlist of all the stuff that I've recommended before. All of that still stands, and I will link to that down in my description box below, or click the eye up here if you want to give it a watch. But as I was thinking about what I personally was planning on picking up in this sale, which is not much, I realized that it's stuff that I have never talked about here on the channel, even though they're things that I've had for months, some of them even years, because they are in my skin and hair care routine, which I do downstairs in my bathroom. And so not only are they not really front and center here for me to just kind of grab and talk about as I think about it like the rest of my makeup is, I'm just kind of generally lazy, especially when it comes to moving all this lighting and stuff around to go film about it or talk about it or bring it up here. You get what I'm saying. It's just stuff that I never think to talk about here on camera, but I use every single day. So that's what I'm gonna talk about here today. Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? Okay, I don't even know what I was saying. Technical difficulties. I am so disappointed with this lighting. Anywho, moving on. I think what I was saying is I'm going to be talking about things that I rarely mention here on the channel, if at all. Oh, and they're big ticket items. So generally my strategy is when the Sephora VIB sale or any kind of big sale at a beauty retailer rolls around is to get the big ticket items that you kind of save up for. That way you get the biggest discount you can. And these are some of the most expensive things in my beauty routine. So figured it was a good time to share those as well. At the end, I will talk about some really expensive palettes, but I've talked about them here on the channel before, some of them multiple times, so I figured I would talk about the other stuff first and then get to the makeup later. Enough of the talking, let's go ahead and get into it. Okay, first up, a microneedler. I have had this for 2 years, maybe even a little over at this point, and I absolutely love it. Use it every day, sometimes twice a day in my skincare routine because I notice better and faster results in my skincare when I do. I guess when I say every day, I mean when I'm really on a roll with it. I'm definitely one of those people that once I kind of put it out of sight, out of mind, I forget to pick it up for months. But I have a little bit of an organization that you'll see when I flashed my bathroom using this that keeps this front and center for me, and ever since then I've been using it twice a day every day and really loving it. This is from the brand Beauty Bio. So in addition to being a micro needler, it has an interchangeable head here so that as the needle's dull you can replace it, or they also make different head sizes depending on where you want to use it. I'll get to that later in my recommendation. But in addition to that, it's also a rechargeable battery in here because there's this power button that makes it not only vibrate, but it also has a red LED in there as well. I believe to stimulate cell turnover, I want to say. I forget what red LED does. Now when I got this, actually my mom got this for me when we were at Nordstrom a couple years back, and I think at the time you could just buy the micro needler. At this point now though, or maybe it's just at Sephora, they only have this exclusive set, but it is the microneedler, which comes with this sanitizing spritzer. It's empty, you put your own rubbing alcohol in it, but this I spritz on it after every time I use it. And then I think in the Sephora kit you get 2 skincare items and maybe some sample packs or something. I'm not entirely sure, but the set overall I believe is $1.99. And I think it's a pretty good deal considering you get the skincare in addition to the tool. If you think you'll use this as often as I do, I absolutely love it. I think that's a great price tag considering everything else you get with it. Additional notes, battery power. I've charged this, like recharged it maybe twice since I've gotten it. Like the charge lasts for forever, which is great because I'm pretty sure I lost the cord at some point. I mean, I know I have it, but it's like at the back of a cabinet somewhere in space and time. The other thing, so the heads. This is the face head, and I use it for everything. They make a face, a body, which is a wider head, probably about that wide, so that if you have like KP on your arms or on your legs, you know, you just want to do this what you do on your face, but for the rest of your body. They just have a slightly bigger head that makes it easier to do it faster. I tend to just stick to my face. They also have one for the eye area. It's much more narrow, so you can get in there. And they also have one for the lips, which is narrow and then has two kind of like padded pillowy type things on the end here. I honestly find this does everything on my face that I need it to. It is the only head size I've ever purchased for this thing. And I think you'll be able to see in the demo here that I get as close as I want to get to my eyes with this head. I don't think having a smaller one, I'd be real comfortable getting that close with something with needles on it, you know what I mean? But if it's your thing, let us know down in the comments below. Maybe it's like life-changing. And then same for the lips. I'm unsure what those little padded things there have to, like what benefit they would have for your lip area. I just save my lips for last to make sure I'm not transferring any mouth germs to the rest of my face and breakout, you know, any breakouts that I might have, which I also avoid if they are open breakouts, but save my lips for last, just do a couple times once over there, and I find that this just does everything that I need. So if you are getting this, highly recommend the kit. Maybe get a replacement head. I have one replacement that I'm about to put on this, but I might get another backup just so I have another one as a backup in case I need it before another sale rolls around. Okay, next, another skincare tool. This one I probably had for around 2 months, maybe a little less than that. It's the Foreo UFO. This is the large one. They also have a mini one that, besides the price difference, which I believe is like $100, functionally the larger one has heating and cooling in addition to the vibration and LED therapy or light going on in here, whereas the mini I believe has all of that except for the heating and cooling. And basically the premise behind this device is that there are sheet masks, which I forgot to bring up here, and I'm lazy. So we're gonna use movie magic to show you what those sheet masks look like. I also have a demo here that I'll play so you can see how to use them, how the app works, everything like that. But basically it is a smart device where you use their masks. This little plastic ring pops off here. You put the mask, sandwich it in here, and it goes with an app on your phone. You scan the mask you're using with your app, turn this on, make sure it's paired with your app, and this little device will basically go through a routine of varying levels of vibration, LED lights, heat, and cool to maximize or optimize the efficiency of the mask on your skin. Now, whether or not all of the maneuvers this thing does demonstrably improves absorption of the products versus using them without this thing, I cannot be sure. Foreo, I don't think. I've not seen or read any independent studies done about this device or the things it claims to do and their efficacy in skincare. However, I will say I really enjoy this experience, specifically the vibrations, the heating, and the cooling. Like that specifically is such a relaxing part of my skincare routine. It is very spa-like. I don't tend to treat myself to facials probably as much as I should, given the acne problem, just general skincare problems that I have. It seems like such a hassle to take the time to schedule it and do it. That kind of self-care. So this to me is like the next best thing, and I can do it more frequently and still feel like I'm treating myself, and more importantly seeing a difference in my skin. I've been really impressed with every single, I bought 4 masks when I also bought 4 different kinds of masks when I also bought this, and I've seen really great results with all of them, specifically this one, the night mask, that I will definitely be repurchasing within this sale, because every time I use it and I wake up, my skin just not only feels so much more hydrated, but also this deepest line I have coming in up here seems so much more shallow after the morning after having used this. So those are all the things that I do love about it. It's not without its quirks, however. There are some things that I don't absolutely love, but I think could be improved upon because it's more app related. So first of all, you do have to download the app and use it in conjunction with this. Like this will not go on a cycle for a mask unless you pull up your app. You have to scan the back of your mask, the barcode on it, so it knows which mask you're using, because there are different variations and sequences that they'll do depending on the mask you have. Like sometimes it will start with red LED and warmth and then go into green LED and vibrations, things like that it pairs with the app to do. However, there is music and narration that goes along with every mask. No matter how many times you've used that mask, you get the same narration, and sometimes I just want to listen to true crime podcasts as I'm doing this process. So I wish that it wasn't so dependent on that app, or that you could kind of multitask within that, because I don't need that piece of it every time I do this. And additionally, I wish I could use this with other products. Like I wish there was just like click once for heat or click twice for just vibrations, because I would love to use this with all of my skincare products. The fact that there is this kind of cooling metallic plate here would be amazing to go in and apply eye creams with like super gentle vibrations in the eye area. I so wish it was way less dependent on that app, because I want to use it with more of the products in my skincare routine. I enjoy it so much. Oh, and this is also rechargeable. Right there, there's the port. I have not had to recharge this in the 2 months that I have had this. So pretty long lasting battery to date. Okay, next step, and this is a big one. Oh my God, it doesn't even fit in the frame. It's the Dyson. It's the Dyson Airwrap. It's this guy. So probably 6 or 7 months ago at this point, I bought the full meal deal. This is the kit with, I think, all of the attachments that Dyson has for the Airwrap. So you basically get, comes with this very lovely carrying case that is wildly impractical for travel, but very nice for storage. You get 2 different straightening brushes here. I honestly don't know the difference between the 2 of them because I rarely straighten my hair. They're effective, but I think they do the same thing in terms of hair straightening. I don't see a noticeable difference in my hair when I use one versus the other. It comes with a round brush, which is disgustingly well used because I didn't clean it before this video, but I really, really love the round brush, especially for curling the ends of my hair. It comes with 2 different barrel sizes. So this is the smaller one, and then by comparison, here is the wider barrel. This is really why I bought this, because for some reason, depending on the Dyson you buy for your hair type, you'll either get the more narrow one or the wider one, and I wanted both, and this was the only one I think you could buy where you got both. Is that right? Or maybe it was the only one where I could get both of these and like the round brush. Like the things that I knew I would use the most all somehow came in different kits. So that's how I landed on this one. And then it also comes with the hair dryer attachment. This is, I guess, like a mini version of the larger one. It's maybe not as powerful as the bigger one, but I don't have that to be able to compare power or also tell you if it might be redundant to own this if you also own the full hair dryer. All I can speak to is the Airwrap, which I really, really love. I don't think I needed this whole set. After now having both of these barrel sizes, I think I could have gotten away with one. Just for my hair type, for reference, I have fine, thin hair. Most of this, like anything colorful you see, is hair extensions, and I've always had hair extensions. This works really well with them, but just with my hair type and how it behaves, I find that these 2 barrel sizes are close enough that it gives me really wonderful bouncy curls, but whether they are tighter because I've used the smaller one or larger because I've used the bigger one, they typically relax and fall in about the same way, and the curl lasts just as long, which is, it's a really long time, but there's really no difference between the 2. So in hindsight, I probably didn't need both of these barrels. Like I said, I definitely didn't need both of these. Oh God, the hair, so much hair. Didn't need both of the straightening brushes, but I do really enjoy the disgusting round brush that I have. And that is, of course, I mean, with any of this, that's just how it works out for me based on my preferences and my type. Hair, skin, etc. That I find I don't need all these, but maybe if you have thicker hair, hair that's harder to style, or curly hair, you know, maybe some of these would work better for you, or you'd find you use more of them. In terms of the perks that I heard other people talking about with this, I don't notice it styles my hair faster, I don't think. The process, to break it down, is that I will use the hair dryer attachment, which are very easy to pop on and off, by the way. There's a little lever back here, you pull it down, that pops off. There isn't really a gratifying click. It just kind of like presses on. You know it's on, you turn it on. Oh, it's not plugged in. Duh. But when it's on, you have a couple of settings. I always keep my speed up to the top. I don't know when I would ever turn it to medium or low. I want the fastest speed possible for the most drying time. There are 3 heat levels that I actually consistently use, and I never used to do that with other hair dryers because I would never style my hair with a hair dryer because I'm not that good at hair. But when I'm drying it with this, I will go in with full heat, and that I use just to dry the roots because all the other attachments are really to dry the remaining parts of your hair. So especially if I'm using hair product, which I pretty much always do, it just helps with lasting power, I will use this, go in and make sure my roots are thoroughly dry so they don't end up looking crispy and crunchy if they don't get dried all the way with the other attachments. Then I will go in with whatever attachment I want to use. For instance, today you'll see in the demo, I use the larger barrel here. Again, you click it on, I crank it up to the highest heat, and then what I like to do, grab a small section of hair, small-ish. I mean, I don't think you have to go too small with this, but you'll definitely know if you have too much hair in there because it will A, take forever to dry, and B, be kind of a loose, messy curl. So start small, then go up from there and figure out where your limits are. I try and wrap my hair around the top of the barrel first. That way it kind of progressively slides down and leaves plenty of room for all of my hair to spread out and dry evenly and more quickly across the whole barrel. You will know if your hair is too wet if it's stiff and it doesn't want to wrap around the barrel. You'll find that almost dry hair will wrap immediately around. You'll have no problem wrapping it around, but I will instantly know I have to go back to my hairdryer attachment if quite a few segments of hair are like too damp to even, you know, get pulled in and wrapped around this thing. Once it's wrapped around though, part of the other reason why I love this is that it is such an easy process. Like I can multitask. I like listening to podcasts while I dry my hair. This is a low enough volume to where I can do that. I can check email, look on social media. Like I can use my phone and kind of do things around me as this is in my hair, and adjusting heat segments, you know, I don't have to constantly kind of baby and monitor and fidget with my hair as I'm doing it. It's kind of more low maintenance in that way, which I like. Like if I'm gonna spend time doing my hair, I wanna be able to multitask if I can, you know? Then once your whole head's done, your hair is all dry, all curled or whatever, however you're gonna style it. I guess this applies specifically to curling. They are the bounciest curls I've ever had coming from something that looks and functions like a curling iron. Like these are hot roller curls, which I love because of how much bounce and volume they have, but you don't have to go through the hot roller process. So often with curling irons, I just find that I have these corkscrew curls that I can shake out and I can loosen up and they definitely relax a little bit, but they forever have that corkscrew shape. Whereas this just gives me more waves that last, and in my hair, waves never last. They always fall so flat. And so this is like the only way that I can actually get that very, you know, loose, just woke up like this, but we all know you really put a lot of time into it sort of look, you know? So that is the Dyson Airwrap. 10 out of 10 recommend, would buy again, but I would probably buy a different configuration to make sure that I'm actually going to use all of the parts that you get, you know? In terms of, before I move on to the palettes, I just want to quickly mention what I think I'm gonna buy. Like I said, probably more masks for my UFO, and then I'm considering somehow justifying in my mind, you know, don't buy any more makeup because you have so much of that, but you might need another skincare tool. Dermaflash has a tool that on one side vibrates. It's like ultrasonic to help your skincare penetrate, kind of like what I want this to do, but apart from the app. And then you flip it over and it is an extractor. It's one of those where it uses that same ultrasonic pulses to help extract clogged pores, blackheads, things like that. And it looks like it's really good for the nose area, which is where I chronically have congested skin. So I'm kind of on the fence about that, but I've heard really mixed reviews. So let me know if you have any experience with it, any thoughts on it down in the comments below. And as always, let me know what you're gonna pick up from the sale. Let's talk about some makeup now. Okay, we all know what these palettes are because they are always consistently the most expensive palettes at Sephora, but in case you're looking for ideas and you just want somebody else's positive review to reaffirm that this is what you want from the sale, here's what I have to say. First, starting off with what I'm wearing today, the Natasha Denona Star Palette. This is one that every time I come back to it, I'm like, you cannot do a bad look with this palette. It's such a flattering configuration of both neutrals, a little bit of color, as always with Natasha Denona, a wide variety of textures, which is why, in part, why I love these so much, as well as the gold palette. This is one that I bought in the sale, kind of as a last minute, like I just took the leap and never regretted it because it's just this fantastic configuration of my comfort zone colors, you know? Neutrals, golds, pops of teals, and again, plenty of texture. Those are, however, the only Natasha Denona palettes I have. I don't have the minis, I don't have any of her newer ones. Even though they look super gorgeous, I'm trying to get the most out of these that I can. The same can be said for this next round, the Pat McGrath palettes. I have, do either of these have names on them? No, I don't think they do. So I believe one was number 5. Yes, this one. And this, spoiler alert, of the two that I have, this one is my favorite one because you get your neutrals over here, but then you also have these incredible incredible textured shades over here and really interesting like duochromatic, iridescent, shifty shades. And the two together are just so interesting and flattering. The other one that I have, I want to say is number 3, but honestly, I can't remember. There's a little bit of crossover in terms of shades because you, ooh, whoa, have like your, you know, medium deep chocolate brown here. But for the most part, they're relatively unique from what I have in the other palette anyway. Again, you actually only have 2 matte shades in this one though. The rest are kind of shimmery or metallic, and then the 4 over here, I think this is the configuration in all of her palettes, but they're textured, iridescent, multichromatic, like, oh, this, it looks blue in the screen over here, but it's actually like purple at some angles. I don't know if you can see. Oh, so, and then this pinky copper, this greeny gold, and then this one is actually a frosty white with a purple shift to it. And so the shifts in all of these like beautifully complement the shades over here. Such a beautiful mixture of shades, and definitely not a palette I don't want to buy unless I have at least a little bit of a discount. So would definitely recommend those. And then last up are my beloved Viseart palettes. So I recently, or when it launched, Muse Beauty Pro sent me, is this? Yes, the Volume 3, which is an entirely matte palette full of super colorful primary shades. It's basically the colorful counterpart to the first one of these that has entirely matte neutral shades. There are like some colorful like purples in there, I believe. I don't have it to compare it against, but this is the primary version. But what I find more wearable, that I just have found I wear more frequently, is number 2. And in case you haven't caught on, it is also in part because I love textured shadows, and this is nothing but a variety of different shadow textures and colors. I have a video where I do 3 or 4 looks using this. There's just like, there's no bounds, and if you think that it's a little bit too out there because of all the texture, I would go watch that video, or in fact, there are a lot of videos out here that I think do very wearable looks, but give it a second thought if you've ever considered getting this but just aren't sure it's gonna be a practical everyday palette for you, because I think you might be surprised. It's versatile because it can be everyday wearable, but then you also have so many opportunities here to really punch up a look with different textures like shimmers, glitters, duochromes, all that kind of stuff. Like, I just love this palette so much. So those are my picks, but remember, if you want any more of the makeup that I would highly recommend you pick up, check out the playlist. Again, click the I or in the description box below to go watch all those videos, because this is definitely not where my recommendations end. It's just some new stuff that I felt the need to share. So thank you guys so much for watching. Please don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already, and I'll catch you in the next video. Bye guys.